man, this your boy John, comedian extraordinaire. This is the first episode of my podcast or whatever you want to call it. Laugh with John. Got plenty of stories, plenty, content. You know what I'm saying? So we finna go and get into it. I got a funny story to tell. Now, any story I tell is not malicious. Trust me, it's funny as hell, but it's not malicious. Nothing I do is malicious. You know, in the end, after I look at it like, damn, I shouldn't have did that. But I go into every situation or every story or whatever happens, it never be malicious. In this story, it's not malicious. Funny as hell though, a little excessive. I promise you, this is a little excessive. So, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this story. All right, we're gonna get into it. This Laughing with John, episode 1. All right, y'all know I go to church. So, I go to church, and at the church, there's a older, elderly woman. She's the oldest person at the church. And so it just happened to be her birthday. And so, she was turning 103. So I've never been a part of a celebration with, just driving and honking the horn and flashing the lights. I've never been a part of that because, I wreck all my vehicles. I'm just gonna say that, I stuff happened, I wreck all my vehicles. But at this, time, have it, my vehicle was up and running, and just so happened, I got a train horn on my truck. So with this celebration, we had to drive through the church, honk the horn, flash the lights. And if you know me and you know what kind of vehicle I got, 96 Chevrolet truck, 350 motor, dual exhaust. And I just probably like about 4 months ago, I had got a train horn on my truck. So I've never been a part of a birthday celebration like that. So with that being said, they tell us what to do. The lady would just so happen to turn 103 years old. So, with that being said, I was at the back of the celebration line. Cause I knew what I was finna do. So, we drive up, we say hey, we honk the horn, then we come around twice. That's it's not what I did. I'm at the back of the line. Like the probably, it like 20 cars in the line. About 25, I'm like 22. So we go through, I come through, I honk my horn, my horn work and my train horn work. So we flashing our lights, I'm hitting neutral, woo, woo, woo. I'm hitting my train horn. So after the second time, everybody went and parked. Keep in mind, I like celebratory stuff and I go too far. But in my mind, I just know, oh, this is a celebration. But I forget this lady is 103 years old. I go past 3 more times, hitting the gas, and hitting the train horn. And so it got to what a point, the pastor calling my phone, the pastor wife calling my phone, my daughter calling my phone. So I'm like, why they calling me? They like, Daddy, what you doing? Cause I'm giving it gas like, woo, 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 woo. I'm burning out, pulling out the church parking lot. And they're like, Daddy, stop. What you doing? And I'm like, what? Y'all wanted me to celebrate? They're like, that lady 103. She can't take all that noise. And I forget. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I had to stop. But it was not malicious. It's just, I never been a part of that. I never been a part of that. So I gave it all I got. I gave everything I had. So they was like, so after the third last time, I burn out the church parking lot, speed down the street, come back. After 4, 5 phone calls. I pull in everybody in the church. They done got the old lady up, brought her in the church, and I come in, everybody looking at me like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, what? Y'all wanted me to celebrate, so I celebrated. They're like, bro, you can't do that. You will get that lady a heart attack. She already older than everybody in the building. I'm like, I meant to, but it slipped my mind. She's 103. Now, keep in mind, this was not malicious. This was not malicious. They like, bro, you could have gave that lady a heart attack. But I celebrated. And so, now that I look at it, that shit was funny as fuck. I'm talking about, man, if you know my truck is loud. I'm talking about my dual exhaust is very loud. I'm talking about I'm spinning tires. Woo, 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 Man, I look down at my phone, man, I got like 7 missed calls. I answer one on my stepdaughter, Brianna, say, Daddy, what you doing? Stop. Bro, you gonna get this lady a heart attack. But it was not malicious now. I didn't do this intentionally. I just forgot because I like celebrating. And that was the first time me being a part of a celebration of that caliber. And I just so happened to have a train horn on my truck with, a decent Vortec 5.7 motor. So I did my part. I just overdid it. So we're gonna call this story excessive celebration. And so that's how that went that day. But, it was never malicious though. It was funny as fuck. It was classic asshole shit. It's asshole-ish. Classic asshole-ish. But it was not malicious. And so, that's how that story went. But, the lady, no elderly people were harmed in the making of this story. But yeah, that's what happened that day. So, it wasn't malicious. It wasn't. But she was okay. She didn't, they took her inside after the third or fourth time burnt rubber down the street, you know what I'm saying? Dual exhaust hollering, honking my train horn, so. But I celebrated with her. It just was a little excessive, so, but the shit was very funny after you look at it. The shit is very funny after you think about it. This shit is funny as fuck. But, hey, it wasn't malicious. So, there you go. One of the great classic asshole-ish stories, that I got to tell to let y'all know things that I've done and that bring joy or incitement of certain stuff I've done. But, it was funny to me, after the 7 calls and the 3, 4 voicemails telling me to stop burning rubber down the street and honking my train horn that could possibly give an old lady a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? She done live over 100 years old. So, but everybody got over it. And they was like, you celebrated excessively. And I was like, that was my first time being a part of that. So you can't blame me. But, everything was all good. everything was all good. So, that's one of my great funny ass stories that I could tell. And so there you go. Whatever you think, whatever your opinion, that's on you, but it was never malicious. Nobody got hurt in the making of this celebration, or in the celebration of this celebration. Nobody got hurt. It was just, I forgot. And so I celebrated with everything I had, which was a train horn and a 350 motor in a 96, Cheyenne pickup truck with a Vortec in it. So, it wasn't malicious. I promise it wasn't malicious. Funny as hell. Funny as hell. Asshole-ish. Yes, very asshole-ish. So, but nobody got hurt, and we celebrated, but, later. Not because what I did. She passed away at 105. So she lived a good life, and her name was Miss Estes, and she was a nice old lady. So that's one of the many of my crazy stories that I had to share with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Some people may get mad, but I've never meant to do that maliciously. I like celebrations, and I just so happen to have a train horn on my truck. So that's that's the story I got for today. So that's the wrap of my first episode of Laughing with John John. And so take it how you take it. It is what it is, and there you go. And so I see y'all next time in one of my crazy, many funny stories of stuff I've done, seen, of been a part of, because anything I be a part of, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny, so there you go. I hope y'all enjoyed this story. Keep in mind, this was not malicious now. This was not malicious. It's just I forgot, when say celebrate, let's do this. My mind went straight to, oh, we celebrating, so we gonna do what we do, you know. But it is what it is. I had fun with it, but so there you go. And I'll see y'all next time with Laughing with John John. And I'll holler at y'all next time.